Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. Just want to give you guys a tip on a common issue that a lot of BMWs have, which is the dynamic stability control issue that a lot of BMW have. This is a common issue that a lot of BMWs have. Okay, so basically, this problem comes up. The scenario on this issue is if you're driving and you're going straight, um, and out of nowhere your car BMW locks up on you, and the engine kind of goes into limp mode, cuts off a little bit, and you get no power whatsoever. Normally, in that situation, the it's more like an ABS situation, an ABS issue. Uh, Seeing as how the computer is sensing that there might be some kind of problem with the vehicle, probably caused by the ABS sensor not communicating, not being able to communicate exactly, what the normal driving is that you're currently driving. Normally, there's no issues whatsoever with the car, but the computer in the car is sensing that there is an issue with um, the ABS. And this is a very simple trick as far as resolving this issue. All right, guys, so let me give you guys an overview of what the dynamic stability control is. Um, Pretty much, it is a safety feature, and this safety feature pretty much facilitates vehicle control even in driving conditions that are, just for example, if you're driving on uh, rough surfaces, really uneven um, pavement, the snow, mud, etc., etc. And this system is pretty much the core of the chassis control system in BMW vehicles, meaning that it actually controls um, the main portion of how the car drives on the road. So it pretty much ensures the highest possible level of stability when driving, and it maximizes traction of all the wheels when setting off or accelerating. The system is able to detect the first signs of oversteering or understeering and helps keep the vehicle safely uh, on a certain course, even if the tires have different levels of grip. There are various sensors which check how the car is driving, and the information that gets sent to the computer includes it includes the monitoring of the wheel rotation, steering angle, pressure, etc., etc. and it pretty much compares the information to what to the steering column, to the steering wheel, the accelerator, and if there is too much of a difference between um, you know how the car is driving, the DSC pretty much increases stability or traction when it needs to. And essentially what happens is the two major components that pretty much gets regulated in these situations is the engine and the brake management systems. So pretty much what happens in those situations is um, all four wheels gets monitored, and if the system senses that there's an issue with with traction, etc., it actually does monitor all four wheels, and it either reduces or increases the engine torque, or it actually does break individual wheels, to improve stability and traction. Um, Active steering, it actually monitors active steering compared to how the car is actually driving on the road. Now, I just gave you guys a background on um, what the dynamic stability control is in a BMW, and obviously, it's if there is a miscommunication between the sensor and and the computer, you know obviously it's what's going to happen is it's going to go into limp mode, and the car, your BMW, might, the steering column might lock up while you're driving, and sometimes, a lot of times it might lock up. A lot of times it'll go into limp mode where the engine, it'll cut off enough power to the engine, or the transmission, where you probably be driving in just one gear. It won't shift up or whatever. So basically, a lot of people, when these situations occur, the expenses it gets expensive. It gets expensive when you go to either the dealership or these shops that might want to take up trying to figure out BMW issues or whatever. Um, I've heard the fixes on these situations could probably be upwards of $900 to $1,500 is what a lot of these shops, or I don't know what BMW charges as far as their dealerships charges, but I've heard people paying $1,500 to get this particular situation diagnosed and fixed. But there is a simple fix to this, and pretty much it has to do with the ABS sensor. All right. So what happens is, um, the so the main issue is rust and corrosion on the drive shaft, rust and corrosion on the ABS ring. Basically, there should be no. The ABS is magnetic. All right, the tip of the sensor is magnetic. All right, and pretty much there is a space. There should be a space between the ABS sensor. When you take off the wheel, there is an ABS sensor that is held in by one bolt. All right. Normally, there's supposed to be a space, a tiny bit of space between the ABS sensor and the ABS ring. So what happens is over time you get rust, um, maybe possibly metal shavings, debris, um, especially any kind of rusting metal debris that might break off, and then it catches onto the ABS sensor itself. And if that happens, it's going to cause some really weird readings in the system. All right. So the best scenario in these situations is you can take off the ABS. You should either swap out or clean the ABS sensor. But what you could do is you could take the bolt off. All right, you can take the bolt off, pretty much put a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver between the ABS, and pretty much just pry it off a little bit. Put a washer in between just to create space, and then put the bolt back. Once you do that, a lot of times it'll clear up that issue because you're creating space between the ABS sensor and the ABS ring. All right, now best case scenario is probably to change out the sensor, either that or to take it out and clean it. But a lot of times these situations happen because you have an older BMW or there's a lot of debris in it. That ABS sensor might be stuck. All right, but in any case, if you guys are having this issue, try doing that. Okay, just pry the ABS sensor up a little, put a washer in between the ABS sensor, and then put a bolt in there. You create enough space for there not to be, not for the ABS sensor not to touch the ABS ring, and that should in a lot of cases fix your issue.